Good morning, my friends. Happy Monday. Welcome to our regularly scheduled Monday morning live. I am, as always, very thankful that you're sharing some time with me. I love it. I love it when we get together for things like this. I actually kind of look forward to the lives during the week, although Monday is kind of packed with them too. All right, so today we are going to be doing food illustration as the um, thumbnail says, or as the title of the live says, mixed media style. I've got some watercolor paints. We're going to go over that in a second. You already know that right here in front of me is a slew full of pencils inside the pencil holder. So I'll be grabbing some colored pencils in order to do some enhancements as needed, if needed. Of course, we will more than likely be using bleed proof, which is gouache. I'm going to grab a couple of gel pens just in case. Let's see what else. I have a paper towel. I'm going to be painting on, this is the traceable that's up over on Patreon. I'm going to be painting on Academy watercolor paper pad. This is 100% cotton, 140-pound cold press, excuse me, acid-free paper. So sorry about that. I've already transferred my illustration onto my paper. I'm using Fuumuui watercolors. This is a 12 half pan travel system. You use whatever watercolors you may have. I do believe that this is a white label of Superior watercolor, so you may already have these paints in a rendition already, if I'm correct about that. Let's get this party started. I am thinking that this may end up being framed, possibly, if it comes out right. So this is a vector image from the internet, and what I'm going to do is now use my imagination to paint it. So I'm gonna try to have some fun with this. Let's just see where this goes. And I am going to be using the Fuumuui travel brushes. So I am using Fuumuui products in this video. I will be going back to update the video description with the links for 10% off of all of the products that you will see in today's video. All right. I'm kind of nervous about getting started. I'm not sure where I want to go. All right, let's get started. I'm going to start off with, so basically what we have is some type of dessert. It could have been a pudding, or it could have been um, custard, or it could have been cake. I'm going to turn it into cake with icing. So to basically be cake in a glass. We're going to have, I'm assuming this would have been chocolate or whatever you want to make it. I think I'm going to go for caramel. We'll put some chocolate here on top where this would have been icing. And then everything else is whipped cream, I'm assuming, dripping with that same. We're going to, again, turn it into caramel with the cherry on top. So I really wanted to get into painting food for this illustration. The thing is, I was talking about this over on in the video for Between the Brushstroke, that I've become really complacent with painting things that make me comfortable in order to get an easy win. And I'm kind of in this creative slump that I don't seem to be able to come out of. And I think it has to do with the fact that I continue to kind of paint the same things over and over. And I don't necessarily mean the same illustration, but I kind of stick to the same subject matters over and over. So I was like, let me go back and start painting some of those things that I've been working on over the years that I don't paint as much as, of course, landscapes. Um, so I decided I would do a food illustration for today with you guys. Just trying to break the monotony. Let's start with the actual cake area. I'm going to start with a yellow ochre. Should we do chocolate cake or yellow cake? I'm going to do a yellow cake. I want the color to stand out. And I'll actually add some of this wipe that off. I'm not sure what was on that. So this is our medium yellow, the one that's more golden leaning. Mix some of that in. Take that and water it down. And I'm gonna use that as the base layer on what is gonna be the cake area. So basically right now the object is gonna just be to try to get some paint on everything. And I'm not quite sure about a background yet. Now hopefully with all that babbling I did at the beginning of the live, it gave you enough time to get yours sketched out in whatever size you were going to be painting. Pick up some of that because there's a lot of it there. And I really should have done a complete background layer. Uh, I didn't realize how yellow that actually was. Go back and blend that yellow ochre into that. I don't really care about being too careful right now. All right, I am going to switch brushes for just a second. First, let me grab some burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. I believe that's what this is. We're about to see. Um, little yellow ochre in it. I know it's gonna seem weird, but we're gonna get there. And chocolate, a little red in it. Um, and then that's it. And then I'm gonna go back and add more blue. That might be phthalo. Let's see, what's ultramarine? Okay, there's no ultramarine. That's Prussian blue. That's why I'm getting that color. Let's mix in cobalt too. I know it seems like a lot, but I'm basically just making a gray. And using all the colors that I'm going to be using in the illustration to make the gray. And I'm going to cover everything. First, I'm going to wet it. I should have done this before I did the yellow, but I'm not really worried about it. If this turns out to be painterly, that'll be even better simply for the fact that I can hang it in the kitchen dining room area and it'll make sense. So it'll look like pop art maybe. All right. I'm adding lots of water to that. And I'm gonna spread it out over everything. I'm going to continue to add water to it and just use what's on my paper. And you may be asking yourself, what's the point of this? I'm putting a unifying wash on the entire thing. And I'm using lots of water to do it, so it'll be a huge shift. This is going to make sure that everything harmonizes, especially since I'm deciding that my background is going to be confetti. Some more water to that. Now, technically, we need to wait on this to dry. So I'm going to grab the hair dryer and go ahead and give it a helping hand. And then we'll move on to putting, I just want to get it sort of to the damp stage so I can start doing wet into damp. And we're going to cover the chocolate here. And then we'll go ahead and start putting on the layers for the actual caramel. We'll work on the whipped topping last. All right, we need to mix up a caramel color. Well, let's go with the chocolate first. So for the chocolate, I really just need a really dark brown. Okay, let me see. We're working with a little mixing palette here, so I'm gonna have to. But it lets you see that you can clean it up on the go. So let's grab some. I'm assuming this is burnt sienna in here. We're making chocolate. Now that burnt sienna, and so for the chocolate, we're gonna take the burnt sienna and we're gonna mix it with. I hate the fact that there's no ultramarine in here. Prussian blue. It's not gonna take it. What's this other color over here? What is this? Where's the color chart? Is that Payne's gray or black? I'm trying to stick to using just what's in here and not reach and grab an ultramarine out of something else. I think this is black. I'm gonna mix it in with a lot of this burnt sienna. And just a touch of that red. And I'm gonna use that to paint in my chocolate layer, my kind of fudge or icing. Now this brush holds quite a bit of water. So make no mistake about it. For it to be such, it's a number 10 by their accord, a number 10 travel. And we're probably gonna come back and end up layering some more there. All right, let's do. We also have chocolate here in this area. That's where the white is gonna start. So we have chocolate in this area. Yes, I'm kind of building myself a Sunday as I go. Since I have creative control right now, why not build something I will go order? I always thought it would be really cool to do food illustrations for a company. Maybe work with somebody who wanted to have a cookbook illustrated but didn't want super hyper realistic photos, but could go for realistic representational work. I'm probably going to switch the heads, put a little bit more color in there on all of that. All right, we get everything covered with color. Let's move on and work on the, um, I guess the caramel glaze now. I'm gonna start the caramel glaze. I need a lot of it too, from the base layer that I use for the chocolate. Okay, let's see here. I'm going with yellow ochre. I'm gonna mix this in, and we're gonna get a super yellow ochre heavy. I'm gonna mix a tad bit of that. Make sure that had that um more. It's more like a permanent yellow deep, and a little bit more water to that. I don't know if that really looks like caramel. Okay, maybe. Let's add some water to it, and let's hope this is enough to paint everything that we need to paint. I feel like this brush is gonna hold for some of the areas a lot of water and paint. Let's see, what other things do we have here? The cat's tongue and a dagger. Let's see. I'm gonna use this cat's tongue. Let me rinse that brush off and rinse this one off. Okay, get some of the excess water off of this brush and go in here and grab just some paint and start with these drizzles on the opposite side. And I'm gonna start moving much quicker here because we have a lot to do. I'm still working on first layers here. I know some of you are probably miles ahead of me, but you always paint much slower when you're trying to talk about what you're doing. And for right now, you'll notice I'm not doing much wet into wet blending because I am going to go for a little realistic feel to this. And I'm going to achieve that by layering, hopefully, if everything goes right. And this don't turn out to be one of my dumpster paintings because I've been having quite a few of those lately. Quite a few of them. Where I'm looking at what I'm painting going, what is this? It has not been easy, let me tell you. And I've been finding myself going through that type of ordeal a lot lately. Where it's like, seriously, what am I painting? Why is it turning out this way? Even on things that I know I can paint. Versus the overall just block of the entire thing. And I don't know why this is being so spotty and patchy. Add some water to it. Maybe I should have wet it first, like I did everything else, but oh well. Here we can just sort of. These brushes are so nice. They come to pretty good points, and I love the fact that they hold so much water. If you wanted to do quicker painting, you could do wet into wet blending to go ahead and start putting your shadows in. It help you get through painting the illustration much quicker. All right. I'm gonna turn this upside down to paint the opposite end. All right. Let's see here. If I can make out everything that I have. all this all this doodad I got here. Let's see. This is all caramel. I'm being careful and going around the areas where the actual whipped cream is exposed. I'm trying to anyway. Not doing the best job. have to go with Corinthians to the dentist in the morning. A lot of dentist appointments that go on around this place. And I like painting on, for average standard size paintings, I like 10 by 7. I think it's a nice size. It's a nice size. It's big enough to be seen on camera. It's big enough to be considered a medium-sized painting. You can get through it quick enough, and it's a pretty decent size for framing or selling. I have another 10 by 7 pad. I think it's vibranium art, which I'm convinced is either Fabriano or Potonate, one or the other. Papers have a similar feel to me. All right, we've got paint on that. Let's get paint on the cherry, and then we'll start building our second layer after we dry everything. Now I'm gonna go ahead with the cherry and start adding in my shadow. Since now I'm about to start working backwards. And when I'm going for something that's realistic-ish, it I build from light to dark, trying to remember to leave light. And if I don't leave enough light, I can always go back and lift it out or use a white gel pen. And since this is more like for, I don't know, I keep saying I wanted to have a little realism to it, but even if it ends up being kind of pop artish, I'll be okay with it. Just mix in some of that Prussian blue and trying to tap it down here under. It won't come off my brush. Here we go. Start getting a little shadow there. Yeah. Of course, I went outside the circle there. Here, I'll clean it up with some bleed proof. Okay, that's fine for right now. And then the stem. I'm gonna do that red. Now I want to be doing like some confetti splatters, but I want to wait until the thing is done. If you wanted to, you could do them now. You can actually wet your background, go around your sundae, wet your background, and then splatter paint in, sort of spread out and diffuse. That way, it won't be like super intense. But I want mine super intense, so I'm gonna do mine after the fact. All right, so I need to get out of this drive. Let's go ahead and put just a little color sort of down off in the bottom of our glass because we're gonna have colors that caramel stuff kind of reflecting and refracting. So I'll just get a little of that down there really lightly for now. We'll build some more color as need be when we go. And let's kind of shake down both sides so they sort of start shaping their glass. All right, and we'll blend more into that later. I want to dry everything, check the comment section, and then we'll move on. Yeah, now we're about to move into the second layer. We're going to start adding more detail. So let's get this crack-a-lackin'. I really want to, I'm going to grab some golden tackling brushes. I want to control the water a little bit more. Now the brush that comes in here with this one, I can't remember what I did with it, but I think it's synthetic squirrel as well. I'm going to reach back here and grab this 1/8 inch dagger by Christy Rice. And I'm going to grab, uh, hmm, where is that other cat's tongue brush? Here we go. I'm going to grab this #1 cat's tongue brush. Oh, I have that travel set it. All right. Let's start here with our first things first. I want to see if I can take out. I'm kind of thinking through how I'm going to start building this, trying to grab everything I'm going to need so I can move through it pretty quickly with you. I'm going to just put a few layers on it to take it beyond where it is, but I'm not going to work on it as much as I would if I was off camera. This will work. I'm just looking for a hard bristle brush. This is a flat. I'm going to get it wet, make sure it's clean, get the bristles down. And taking a paper towel, I'm going to go in here and see if I can lift off. All right, cool. I can lift that off good. Because red typically stains quite a bit. So I just wanted to make sure. I'll go in here and really get some definition on this cherry. It's kind of nestled in there like so. Grabbing some of that Prussian blue. This time I have a brush that's not allowing me to have a lot of water, right? Therefore, I'm gonna get much more intense color. And I'm taking my time and blending that dark in. All right. I'm gonna rinse, blot, and then go in and soften the edges where it blends into the red. If I need to, I'll grab a little bit more red. Very, very kind of dry on my brush. I don't want any back running. And then just lightly blend that red to that darker shade. And it'll help soften the edges. All right, now I'll do the stem. And basically, excuse me, I'm going to paint it in with a little bit more saturation using almost mass tone red because I don't want anything to run at this point. But I'm going to move quickly because I want to do this while it's still damp. Now I'm going to grab black. I know, yes, black. We've already used it in the base. And run up the back side of that stem. All right, now grabbing red again, almost mass tone, lightly brush it over everything. All right, we'll enhance that more as we need to later. All right, I think that looks pretty good so far. Let's move on down to let's do this chocolate layer in here. Now, I want to enhance that color just a little bit more, and then we're going to be using black. Yeah, black. To really get the color we need. Oh, oh, I went way overboard just then. That's far too much black. Almost the same color. I'll do this section at a time. So I'm just going to cover this and then using black directly from my pan, I'm going to put in the shadow. And then using burnt sienna directly on top of it. Kind of blend it in. All right. Moving on, doing the next little section. And if you do it section by section like this, it break it down. It becomes really easy. You can't always do it like this, but we're lucky because the caramel is dividing. Should I say I'm lucky because the caramel is dividing each of the little sections up. All right, and then I'll grab a little of that black. And I need to keep it on trend here, so we'll go down like this. Maybe one coming up here. Excuse me. Getting a little froggy. All right, then we're gonna grab some burnt sienna again, and then we're gonna go on top of that and blend it in. Hopefully it's starting to look like shadows in the chocolate. Of course, my chocolate is not nearly as dark as I really want it to be, but I'm settling for it right now. Feel like too much water has been added. Yeah, that's too dark. Alrighty. Then again, we're going with our black paint. And we're gonna finish up this swirl line. I'm gonna grab a little burnt sienna and blend it out. Right. I think trying to figure where to go next. Let's work on the. Let's move down. So here I need basically a gray. I'm gonna need quite a bit of a gray here. Trying to get that gray without using black. But this neutral is definitely a green tint because we're using Prussian blue, of course, instead of ultramarine, which is a warm blue. So I'm gonna add a little black to that. We've been using it anyway. I want it to be more of a gray. I don't really want that green undertone to it. But it's also going to add some liveliness to the black. I guess that's okay. I don't know how I feel about this. Let's see. That's okay. So let's see here. I'm going to do this slow for the color. We'll put some down. We'll go back and blend it. You can do this section by section, but you just want to try to avoid having harsh lines with this. Keep in mind that this is supposed to be white, so yeah, there's that. And I'm just laying it down and then going back with water and trying to soften it. And I'm hoping that when it's all said and done, it'll look right. Well, that's not quite how that should have been, but we're gonna leave it that way. And I'm just trying to blend out the edges so it doesn't look hard. And see, the little vector image has shadows, but it doesn't have any colors with it. Alright, we're gonna see how it looks as a whole once it's all done and whether or not it needs to have any additional color added to it, because right now I'm keeping it pretty light. Even after the video ends, I can go back and darken up those shadow areas. But right now I want to just kind of build them because I'm not quite sure. But basically, I put down color and I go back and blend out the end so it won't leave harsh lines. I mean, it's not, it's kind of redundant doing the same thing over and over here. Just picking areas to put shadow where I feel like it would separate. Hoping that it looks like it's building dimension up under. Where am I going with this? I know that's what a lot of you are thinking. Thrifty, where are you going with this? What is happening here? Hopefully it looks like I'm adding shadow to the whipped cream. I can't see right now because I'm not watching the video. So I have no idea if this is translating right. I'm just painting. I'm just trying to go ahead and get to doing this. I know I've gotten a little quiet, but you guys see, get the point of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to go ahead and get through it so that okay. And then this is different here. Interesting here. And even here. And then let's blend just slightly. Those are not that harsh. Definitely to blend the bottom there. Take that color and enhance, swirling that chocolate. All right, let's work on this caramel up here. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to clean another space real quick. All right, time is it? We've been on what, an hour and 15 minutes. We're doing good. We'll be wrapping up here pretty soon, actually. All right, let's go ahead and I think I want to enhance. I'm definitely doing the icing more because it's just not the right color. So let's figure it out, right? And then we'll add the dark end as we go. So caramel, I guess I could keep it that light color and then just start adding dimension to it. We could just do that. Why not? That way we cut our time in half and don't have to wait on anything else to dry. So I just want to start mixing a medium tone color to start, because the icing does have quite a few dimensions to it. I mean, the caramel, should I say. I'm going to mix in some burnt sienna into this until we get it a darker shade. All right. And then I'm going to go into certain areas and just start putting in a second layer of color that is darker. And I'm not going to worry about blending these out. I want them to be sharp because they're going to layer with the even darker color to really add the dimension that we need to, and I hope that color isn't enough to really be adding some. It is sort of watery now that I pay attention to it. Let's go back over it a second time. We got enough time. I still got plenty of time to work through this and not keep you too long. Um, and basically, I'm figuring out where shadow is. That's what it is. This is actually the mid-tone color. It'll be a third and final darker color going on to everything as well. This is the color that's serving as the mid. Yes, I'm kind of looking at the sort of vector image and using imagination all at the same time. Because of course there's no color on the image. Just indication of where things might be. All right. Now we will be outlining it even a little more. Let's go ahead and work on moving on down here. Gotta mix up some more of that yellow ochre. Uh, really do kind of want to blend that a little bit, truth be told. And that needs to kind of come down like this. end of my brush and just go back and soften it. I don't want it too hard. Alright, and do. I have fun at this point. Now, it doesn't matter what color you're painting yours. Make whatever color you want to. You don't have to be doing chocolate. You don't have to be doing caramel. You could be doing whatever you want. I think I saw Nicole talking about strawberry and lemon or something. Go for it. Now, if any of this is too harsh when I'm done, I can always go back and soften it. Now, I know this might not make sense to you now, but it's going to make perfect sense in just a moment when we get ready to dry this and cover everything with a final really thin wash. And with that wash, we'll be adding in the actual shadows for everything. Told you this was going to be a pretty detailed one, so we might be working a little while on it because this is going to go on my kitchen, or more than likely my dining room wall, not my kitchen wall. I'm haven't decided if I'm going to just get a big frame with a 10 by 7 mat in it and put the original in there, or if I'm actually going to send it off to the printer that I use and have it printed really big on canvas. Because there's always that option. All righty then. That is to the point where I can put on another layer of the yellow ochre. Now, not Tisa, but I think Nicole was saying it looks like butterscotch to her. Whatever. We can go with that too. I'm grabbing yellow ochre directly from the pen and I'm going in and starting to dot in texture on my yellow cake area using the cat's tongue brush. I'm using mass tone yellow ochre directly from the pan. So it's really sort of dry brushing the color on. And this is just going to help us get an overall cake feel. We're going to go back in with some burnt sienna in just a moment to start fleshing that cakey cake feel out. Here's the thing. It's a little bit too samey and value in too many places for me at the moment. So we are going to be doing something about that as well. All right, let's go with what is this I'm using? Burnt sienna. Same technique, tapping it, tapping it directly into the yellow ochre, so the dry brushy. Now, you can be much more delicate with this with a smaller brush. It's going to give you a lot of better result than what I'm getting at the moment. But I'm not really worried. I'm just trying to get some overall color. I'm going to go back and clean it up. All right. Okie dokie. Let's see here. What else do I need to do before we actually do the glass part? I think I want to just go ahead and do the glass part. So I'm going to go into some of this dark neutral that we have, water it down. And I'm going to go ahead and actually paint the glass. And on this side, it's a little thicker. So we're going to put in a broader stroke. Rinse the brush, dry it off, and then blend it inwards. Because it would be a little thick right there. And if you don't feel like the color is enough, add a little color to your brush while it's watered down. And go in and just fill out that side area over there. Like so. Now I'm going to go back and continue. Super thin. Super thin. Barely touching the paper. Trying my best to keep a straight line. Trying my best to keep a straight line. Well, where I need to anyway. Okay. That is covered. The rest of that is covered. I'm going to need to put, all of this is going to get separated in just a second. Don't worry. This is another reason I tend to do landscapes whenever we are doing lives because they are so much quicker to execute. Oh, I got off with that one. Oh well. Yeah, there's so much quicker to execute. You can get through one so much more and get a quick painting done without taking up too much of anybody's time, right? All right. Trying to get the paint to blend out because this is glass, so you have all this refraction and refracting going on. All right. I need to do something with this to make it all look better. It's starting to come together. It's just not quite there yet. And I'm not quite sure at this point where I want to go with this. I'm gonna put on a really thin layer. If it looks like butterscotch, it just looks like butterscotch. I'm fine with that. But I wanted to add a little bit more color and bring everything together so that I can add in the actual shadows. And I'm not scrubbing anything. I'm just laying down this really thin wash of yellow ochre so that any ends that want to blend can, but it won't take away from the secondary color that I put down. Just sort of soften everything. I technically need to change the color of the cake because it's way too close to the icing. So maybe not as realistic as I wanted it to be, but you know, working it out. Right now, I'm putting darker chrome on the actual cake itself to kind of separate where the icing. Uh, See, like I told you, a slew full of I'm not too sure paintings. I don't know what's going on with me lately. Maybe I need to take a painting vacation. I don't know. I'm just starting to feel like nothing is as it should be. What, what can you do? Just continue to layer and hope for the best. I don't know, went this route because I really feel like it was necessary to separate the cake color from, I guess, what's supposed to be the caramel or the butterscotch or the icing or whatever. Yeah, not finished. That's okay. We're gonna push through and get through it. That's what we're gonna do. I started it like this, so I'm gonna finish it and we'll see what it looks like. The splatters will hit to look better in the end. When in doubt, splatter. I just haven't done it yet. I've wanted to though. Just like splatter some paint out on and be like, okay, let's see where this goes. All right. Yeah. Now, I still don't like the look of the icing, the butterscotch or whatever it is. I don't care for the look of it. I mean, it kind of is what it is, but I don't care for the look of it. I am adding in, going ahead and adding in the darks at this point. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to possibly try to save it. Let me add in my darker lines. That way I can see where I am with the entire thing. Add in shadows. That way. it's wider. You can see it from this side much more, where it gets narrow on the opposite side. So like it's narrow here. Then it starts to widen out as it comes this way. And that's not exactly how that should look, but okay. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna call it a happy accident, whether that's what it is or not. All right. Um, so see, it's just like layers and layers of work to do in order to really get it to the level that you want it. Now I'm starting to add in the darks, which doesn't mean that I'm done. I might still need to go back and add in, I don't know, some more midtones or some more lights at some point. And caramel and chocolate, you can't get much better than that. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there as an illustration. Not nearly as realistic as I wanted it to be, but hey, I'm gonna take the win in the turning out cute illustration department. And I'm gonna take that win for sure. In some places it gets thicker. Some places it's very thin. Just keep pushing on. Things are gonna get better. Keep pushing on. You want to keep on pushing. Alright, there we go. Around that corner, get thin, thick again, thin. thick in here, thin out, all the way around. Thin here, thin. Both of this connects. All right, so far so good. I need. Do I have a brown? I think I have a brown fine liner somewhere. Where is it? I know I have one. Is this it? I think this is it. Uh, that looks like brown. I'm a little blind. Uh, color. Where is it? What does it say? Micro waterproof and fade ink. It looks brown. The caps look brown. Why isn't the color on here? Well, fine. I'm gonna pretend it's brown. It is brown. It's brown enough. And I feel like this is gonna be better than using, definitely better than using black. I don't need it everywhere. It's needed in those areas where I really need some really dark brown separation. Really kind of make everything else kind of pop out. Like I said, I needed something to give me some separation in these colors. And this is gonna work perfect. I just gotta take my time. The fine liner is super thin. And it's really gonna help. So wasn't expecting to use ink in this mixed media project, but here we are. I think we're probably getting to the point where we're going to be moving on from the watercolors and finishing this off with ink and gouache. And I think I like it better like this. Sometimes you just need a little ink. Which reminds me, we're going to be using ink tonight inside the creation station in order to make artist trading cards. Going to be a lot of fun. If you're part of the creation station, be sure that you're there. Absolutely. All right. And this is gonna lift it up off of everything. It's kind of giving it a 3D feel, lifting it up off of the glass, lifting it up off of the whipped cream. And I'm being sure to go outside the darker brown area that I put in. All right, we are about to the point where I'm gonna call this done on screen, and I'm probably gonna finish it up off screen. Just depends on how much more I feel I need to do once I pull this pen up. All right, I'm not mad at that. Okay, all right. Maybe I will use a black pen to draw in the outlines of the actual glass. Hmm, let's see. I want to grab. When you start to add your darks in, things start to make more sense about where you need to. I see now. I see where there's a lot of areas where I want to go in and lift paint back in order to. All right, let's see. It's not looking too terrible. It's not looking too terrible at this point. I definitely want to probably end up enhancing those shadows inside the icing more, just so it stands out. I do want to take a black pen and definitely go over. I'm going to grab a black pen just because I know it's going to speed things up. So I'm grabbing a black fine liner at this point. Let's get this done. Didn't quite come out the way I wanted it to, but I'm not upset with the way it did come out. Let's go ahead and add in. So this is giving the feeling that I want it to. Uh-huh. Then we're gonna go in with some white gel pen and some white gouache, and it'll all come together. It won't be like as maybe as realistic-ish as I was aiming for when I initially set out to do this, but whenever I paint out of my imagination, it tends to turn out to be much more like cartoony than if I'm just painting from a reference photo. Last week, I painted from like a Bob Ross type thing. It was so cool. Yeah. Now, I'm not really worried about whether my ink dried. I mean, this is a waterproof ink, but of course it will spread if you hit it with water before it has time to dry. At this point, I'm just enhancing the whole, uh, enhancing the sort of whimsical fantasy look of it at this point. All right, and I need that brown over here. All right, and let's see. I need, like I said, these areas don't seem dark enough. So let's add a little more darkness to these. We'll keep it watery though, but they need to be enhanced. Keep it watery so they'll still shift. They definitely need to be enhanced a little bit so you can tell the dimensions of the icing. There we go. I don't think that's too bad. All right, so I have got to start coming up in the future with a different way of um, translating my caramel. I didn't want to make it chocolate. I should have made it chocolate, but I didn't want to make it chocolate because we had the chocolate down here already. And I just feel like I want to pump up the color on the caramel. I really, really do. It needs to look different, much more different. It looks too close to the actual cake for me. And I don't want to turn it chocolate, but I can add some body to it with a little gouache. Let me see. I need one that's got a brown to it. My iPad is gonna die as well, and I don't think I have the charger in here for it. Let's see. What is this? This is Shinhan Designer's Gouache. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this. Uh, see, it's red. It's burnt sienna, but it's pretty red. It's all right. Let's take that. I'm gonna mix in yellow ochre. Should I put some white in it? No, that's gonna turn it too light. Um, green counteracts it, makes it darker, but I don't feel like it's yellow enough. Yeah, that's too, just that's so red. That's not what I'm looking for. And then I need to, uh, still too red. I don't know. I don't know how to really pull it away color wise, but keep it light. What happened if I put really, 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 really thin washes? Still in the same color family, still looks too samey. I think I might just go ahead and change it to a super dark chocolate before I post the results. So here's what I'm gonna do at this point. I'm gonna call this good here. You guys will be able to continue to work on yours as you see fit. I think what I'm gonna do is maybe change that to a dark chocolate or keep playing with the color until I figure out how to get it. I mean, how do you just get this to be a little bit more yellow for me, right? I don't know if I want it to be, if it's that it's not yellow enough. I don't know if that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what. Huh? I don't know. it pumps up the color a little bit and it definitely separates it from the cake color. You can definitely tell one is definitely more earthy, one is more kind of golden yellow, and maybe this should have been the color of the cake, and the yellow ochre should have been for. Does it? I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna put this layer on here now since I got it halfway on everything. And then I'm going to just lift out some highlights because at this point, no matter how much more I layer of this paint, it's not going to get any better. And I can just go in with some color pencils, start enhancing stuff, and lift out some highlights for the most part. Oh, maybe that helped a little bit. Huh. Maybe that did help a little bit. Wait a minute. Now that I look at it on the screen, maybe that wasn't so bad. Let's try that again. Oop. you know, maybe that gave it a little bit more of a yellowy butterscotch look. And putting on that wash will help blend everything together. So let's just see. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the stuff ready for that's too much. That's too yellow right there. But go ahead and start getting everything ready for Patreon tonight. I'm really excited about the artist trading cards that we're gonna attempt. And hopefully they come out better than everything else I've been painting lately comes out. And I don't have to fight and struggle so much to figure it out. But that's what the creation station is for. Like, I shouldn't be struggling right here or YouTube to figure this out. I don't know. Maybe it'll help somebody. I think that kind of made it look a better. I think I'm good with it. I just want to put a little bit more dark on it. But yeah, that works for me. It pulled it away from the cake more. Let's see if we can dry this real quick and put on a few highlights, and then we're gonna be done. This this is gonna be this live is gonna be crazy to hit it. I've been jumping around with all types of craziness with this one. This one is gonna be pretty crazy to hit it. Just a little shadow grounded to the bottom of it. Too much or nothing. A little bit more right up under it. Just cause it would always be darker right up under it. So I'm not gonna do too much. Just something connected to the ground. Actually, I feel like it's hanging here. want it to feel like it's hanging in the air in any shape, form, or fashion. All right, lift off some highlights real quick. So I have to use this paper towel if I can find a clean area. It's gonna have to do. And let's see, where do we need natural looking highlights? Natural looking highlight is what we need. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness it lifts so easily. It lifts too easily, actually, on this paper, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but not a great thing either. Okay, it's starting to come to life a little bit. Just pulling out highlights. That's all I'm doing. Pulling out highlights that should be natural looking without using bleed, bro. Hey, all right. Feel like we might be getting somewhere to where I'm gonna be decently happy with the way this turned out. You can't always be super happy all the time, but you can get something out of it. Okay. Now, this is a good thing about the colors I use. That they're sedimentary, and you see how I'm able to just like lift directly back to the white of the paper in some areas, bring back highlights and make it seem natural. So I'm just going to go through and do that. hmm And I'm using a flat brush. I mean, it probably might would be smarter to use a round brush, but whatever. I'm a painting rebel today. Okay, my tablet did go ahead and die on me, so I am winging the rest of this. Well, I don't really know about that one. All right, hold on. Okay, I feel like I do have it to a point where maybe just some color pencils on it is gonna wrap up the enhancement with it. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's gonna be too much more I can do to it. Okay, yeah. Let's grab this white gel pen. I'm waiting on the tablet to come back on so I can. All right. I wanted to see the rest of this. All right, and then we need shadow on a lot of stuff here. Um, excuse me. Dang it. What's wrong with this thing? And I'm just covering this because it's darker over here with the shadow on that side of the glass. Okay, I think that's truly gonna do me. I think that's truly gonna do me. And the only thing I need to do now really is put the major white highlights on. All right, let's dry this and then we're gonna put on the major highlights and we're gonna call it done, my friend. I think it is a cutie for a kitchen painting. Let's go in and put on some major highlights. Cause I don't know why this thing isn't charging. I really want to look at the vector image one more time. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I think it might be time for me to get another cord to charge my iPad. It might be time for another iPad because that one is about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old at this point. Okay, let's see. I want to use my really thin white gel pen and I'm going to put a white highlight on the opposite side of this stem. And if you're using a gel pen, keep in mind that your paper is textured. So, um, and I'm just going to, I think I probably want to go with a thicker nail for this part. I'm going to go with my Uniball, this part. And basically, I want to hit all of my bumps, especially around a highlighted area. And these are normally like my favorite. Um, Okay. I don't think that's looking too shabby. Pretty much all the curves, the major curves get highlights, kind of emphasize. All right. I feel like I just need to see what the bottom of this glass looks like, and then I'll feel better about my life. All right, so we have interesting that that's even there like that. I'll put it in there, and I have along the side of my glass here, got a highlight under my glass. It's a highlight. It's reflecting the light down and down this side of the glass. And of course, there is this major highlight that's on the top of this rim, right of that glass sits down, and a highlight here. And then one that goes across like this, which is kind of funny. And this one kind of curves around a little bit too. Um, I think I think we good. Personally, I think I pretty much got it in all the areas that I wanted to get it in. You know, sometimes you'll have issues with gel pen sticking. Not too often. Uniballs tend to do pretty well. And I think, my friends, that is going to be a wrap for this little illustration. I think it'll be cute somewhere. All right, let's sign it. All right, there you have it, friends. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know this turned out to be a much longer live than I even anticipated it being, 2.5 hours. Was not on my bucket list for today, but I'm glad we did stick through it, go through it. We used watercolors, we used gouache, we used ink from fine liners, we used ink from gel pens, and I'm going to go in and actually enhance a little bit with some colored pencils too, just to get some punch in some areas. And this is just Faber-Castell. They're black edition color pencils. It's just gonna get a little bit of oomph in here and there, especially in the like shadow areas. And this is just a dark brown, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Definitely more shadow separation in that chocolate there. So you can see right away how the opaqueness of those color pencils are gonna punch things up just a little bit and add in just that extra dimension needed for whatever is needed for. And that's not bad at all. The more I do to it, the more I like it. The more I do to it, definitely the more I like it. So go out, enjoy your week. I will see you back here on Wednesday for our regular scheduled Wednesday release, which this Wednesday is going to be a studio tour. So if you've been interested in seeing what the studio looks like, your opportunity is coming up because we will be doing a studio tour this Wednesday. And then the following Wednesday's video will be about making some suggestions to you as a watercolorist that you may find helpful for staying on, your creative journey. Don't forget to check the video description. I am going to go back and link all the products that I used. And I do have a 10% coupon code, like I said earlier, that I'm going to link as well in the video description. So if you saw anything that you think you may want to pick up for yourself in this video that I've used, you can feel free. Oh, I love it. Okay. I do love, 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 love the dimension that color pencil is adding. Do love it. All right. So have a great week, Patreon. I will see you tonight at 8 p.m. for our regular scheduled Monday Night Live. Everyone else, I'll see you Wednesday. And the Just Keep Painting 20 March 2026 tutorial will be dropping in the next day or so before the month is over. It should have come out already. I know it didn't. I apologize, but I'm getting to it. I really am. In the meantime, remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video, my friend, just keep creating.